Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, October the 2nd. I am Erica Savage Wilson, and you are tuned in to the number one morning political primer in the nation. That is the Savage Political Bite, right here live on Facebook. We do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so would invite you to please join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We've been doing this piece for well over a year now, had Savage Politics for 3 years. So invite you to join us live right here on Facebook. Now, if you don't catch us live on Facebook, you are more than likely to catch us on YouTube as well, Savage Political Bites. So I'm going to give a few moments for everyone to get here. It has been an extraordinarily long week, if you ask me. Hey, Erin, good morning, girl. Karan, that's not her. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm looking at my phone, looking at you all. It's a lot happening here. Hey, Miss Jones, so good to see you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome. So glad to have you again. And as you all are coming in, good morning, Auntie Carla, and want to tell you very, very special happy birthday. Aunt Carla just had a special birthday here, I believe a day or so ago. So happy birthday to you, Aunt Carla. So good to see you all. Um, and look at me, got loops going. And good morning to you, Chief McBride. So just getting everyone a very, very sunshiny good morning. Y'all, we made it to the end of the week. I said this yesterday, but it literally feels like it has been an entire month packed into this week. It has been an extraordinary week. I don't know if it's been like that for you. Hello, Mr. Thomas. So good to see you. Thank you so much for joining. It really does feel like it's almost been an entire month just this week alone. But today is a heavy news day, as it has been for quite some time. Here we got a little bit to discuss, but one of the things that I think is really kind of um, engaging people right now is the fact that 45 may have contracted, or he actually, he and his wife Melania will have to isolate because they have tested positive for COVID 19. And that was kind of the breaking news of the day. Good morning, Dr. Wilson. So good to see you, my big sister, Dr. Wilson. Always fantastic to see you, sis. That was a part of the news cycle yesterday evening, I should say, rather. Yeah. Oh yeah, girl. You know I did not go to bed, and that's another thing too. I did not go to bed until like 1:45 this morning. Hey there, my sister Moni love. Girl. I really, Monica. Yeah, so I love you, Monica. So good to see you this morning, love. One of my favorite CEOs, Monique Lynn. So good to see you this morning. So yeah, so that happened, and since that time, there have been tweets, of course, because he tweeted it out as he does everything else. Benjamin Netanyahu, um, and other folks, Boris, the Prime Minister of, I can never remember his last, Boris Johnson, um, the Prime Minister of the UK, who was very Trumpian before his campaign for Prime Minister. And so he sent out well wishes to him. As you all well know, Boris Johnson contracted COVID 19 earlier this year and had to be in ICU. And interestingly enough, because he ran on this platform of Brexit, if you all remember that, he was the architect of Brexit, and really, really pushed it very heavily, even before his prime minister days. I believe he was serving as foreign secretary at the time from that desk spot. Made it over the finish line with Brexit and became prime minister as well. And a part of Brexit was to say that people who were not specifically native to the UK needed to go back to where they came from. Very hostile towards immigrant. Just kind of a snapshot of his campaign with Brexit coming out of the European Union. And so you fast forward into to 2020 COVID-19, and guess who took care of him while he was in intensive care? Hey, mom and dad. Love you both. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining. Um, if you can guess who took care of him, I think the answer is almost obvious. Immigrants did here in the United States. When we think about the lion's share of essential workers, those people who serve and work as domestics, I shouldn't say serve, but work as domestics, a large part of those positions are filled by black and brown bodies, but also undocumented or the immigrant population here in the United States. So you think about that is who makes up this particular the healthcare, home care, your CNAs, those type of positions, and that he was actually cared for by those people. Now, he was a big kind of ginger coming out of that COVID-19 state, but he's not changed that much at all. So, all of that to say, good morning, E. What's going on, girl? Good morning, Latrina. Always fantastic to see you. Good morning, Darshell. Good morning, Andret. Always fantastic to see Bike Bang in here. So, all of that to say, we're looking to see how this will move forward because we have a person that is at 1600 Black Lives Matter Plaza here in DC that has the spent really from January up until this point saying things that like COVID-19 was a hoax, that it would magically disappear, that the folks that are most impacted by COVID are people that are in his age group, which he's, nearly in his 80s, and that children almost don't have it, and if they do, they recover very quickly. Just a basket full of lies is what we have, ladies and gentlemen. And so to see that all of the lies, because at last count, when WAPO, Washington Post rather, was doing this count of how many lies he told, it was well over 20,000 lies. He literally, in his ingredient basket, is lies. He lives, swims, eats, breathes lies, conspiracy theories, all of that. So, with everything that he has had negative to say about COVID-19 as a way to keep from actually developing a national testing strategy, coordinating with federal and state officials to make sure that you and I are taken care of. Remember, there was the piece that came out where there was actually HHS had actually said that, listen, what we're going to do is send at least 5 masks so that, we're thinking about the home, maybe 5 people, but we're going to send out masks to each and every home because that would have actually reduced the number of deaths by at least 100,000 people. Y'all, we are at 209,095 people that are long gone from the earth because this liar does not want to do the job that is with that comes with being an executive because he's never been an executive. He's been a whole overinflated, overvalued lie. And so, and we've seen that in the tax records that have come out this week. This man owes $400 million. Those bills come due within the next few years here. So when you have a person that really their constitution is to avoid responsibility at all costs, and everyone around them suffers the consequences, even a spouse, child, it does not matter. Everything is dispensable except for him. Um, Darshell said it's inevitable. Chickens are coming home to roost. Listen, and so with this, it's going to be interesting to see because one of the recommendations is that he calls her Melanie isolate in the White House. We also have to think about their staff in the White House, and the staff that I'm referring to are the black and brown people that are working in the homes that are taking care of cleaning duties, that are taking care of feeding, cooking and feeding and things of that nature. Those are the different people I'm thinking about. And so because he's so boisterous, because he's such a liar, an incredible liar at that, because he's a person that does not take care of his own health, it's going to be really, really interesting to see if they're going to follow the guidelines around isolating to quarantine. Is going to be very, very interesting. He's gotten a lot of sympathy from would-be dictators, autocrats, and things of that nature. So it's going to be really interesting to see how 45 does handle this crisis that he seemed to get himself into, because he's largely ignored the American public and taking care of the people that he's supposed to be leading. All of that to say, um, we'll definitely will continue to watch this. We know that he's barely worn a mask. Um, barely worn a mask. I mean, barely worn a mask. When um, RBG, excuse me, was at this um, her um, her casket, excuse me, you all, was at the Supreme Court. If you all remember when him and Melanie showed up, that there were resounding boos from the crowd and saying, vote him out, vote him out, vote him out. So he did not get a warm welcome there. He had a mask and he kind of faded um, and back away from where he could be seen, him and Melanie. So it's going to be really, really interesting. A person that feeds off of insidious hatred, feeds off of violence. His words are mediocre. They are in their words that create harm on every level. It is really going to be interesting to see how he navigates all of this. Good morning, Miss Barbara. Fantastic to see you. Wen said he'll handle it in a typical in he'll handle it in typical fashion as a petulant child. The truth has been spoken. Amen, Dr. Wilson. So that's where we are there with that. So as a matter of fact, I'm looking at the people. Now, Hope Hicks is supposed to be the carrier because she was the one who got ill. So here are the people that he was, in fact, in touch with. And I'll read off this list to you all very quickly. Um, let's see. She was in touch with, and I'm going to read off these names. Um, let's see. Representative Jim Jordan. Jim is out of Ohio. He is the person in Congress that you can always find, like, on any congressional hearings, particularly ones that Republicans are leading the hearings, or the folks that are testifying are Republican or Republican leaning. You can always hear him being extraordinarily, you hear him screaming when he talks. He was also the person that was um, a gym teacher, wrestling coach, excuse me, rather, and was accused of not reporting sexual abuse that happened. So, don't have a lot of respect at all for Jim Jordan, particularly that action and the way that he continually screams and screams when he talks. So, he was on the plane. Good morning, Debbie. So good to see you, sis. So, Jim Jordan, Alice Marie Johnson, Miss Johnson is a black woman. She is the woman who had spent 25 years in a prison uh, due to overinflated drug charges. She was a woman who had a gambling addiction, lost her job, needed to find a way to make ends meet, and moved weight, so to speak. Sold drugs, but the charges were definitely stacked, and she had a lifetime sentence, and I believe with no possibility of parole, if I'm not mistaken. But because of um, uh, Kim Kardashian and her advocacy led to, with Donald Trump, led to Miss Marie Johnson's petition to be released. It was granted, and so they have been using her and touting Miss Johnson about on the campaign trail. She was seen at the RNC convention last month as a way to say that, listen, we're not racist and we really are pushing for criminal reform. So that's, and I'm so glad that Miss Johnson is free because she should not have spent that much time in prison, but don't like the way with which she's used. So she was on, she recently traveled with Hope Hicks. There's a Robert O'Brien, Rudolph Giuliani, who they once dubbed America's mayor, never was my mayor. Um, Mark Meadows, Ivanka Trump, Jared Kushner, um, Donald Trump Jr., Kim Guilfoyle, which is Donald Trump Jr.'s Um, um, they're dating. Eric Trump, Laura Trump, Tiffany Trump, Derek Lyons, Bill Stepien, Jason Miller, Kayleigh McEnany, who is the White House press secretary, Gabby Hurt, Don Scavino, and Stephen Miller, who is the architect of that horrifying um, inauguration marriage, American Carnage, a big speechwriter for this president. And then also, he is the architect of a lot of the anti immigration policy, a lot of the really, really rogue, tough policies that impact everyday Americans. He's the speechwriter, and he's really the face behind that. What's up, my guy Barrington? Barrington says, Dietrich, unless he is taken down by Corona, he would stay out there because the election is 31 days away. Um, I hear you, Barrington, and that's why I say it's going to be really, really interesting to see how it is that he and Melanie abide by the guidance that they get from the White House doctor, from their personal, from their physicians. It's going to be really, really interesting to see because he literally feeds off of the filth that is his rally. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see. Um, yeah, going to be really interesting to see, particularly since, again, he's been practically maskless wherever he's trouted his hate about. So this is going to be really interesting, everyone. Definitely, please continue to stay tuned in. My aunt just joined. Good morning, Dr. Lyrian Watson. Always fantastic to see you. It is definitely going to be very interesting. I will say this. Um, to a certain degree, I'm not surprised. I think that a lot of people, to be very honest with you, were wondering, well, if he has not, in all of his ugliness, contracted or had any symptoms of COVID-19, what is that? What is really happening? And we're seeing that that's actually not the case, right? He is a person who may not have abided inside of guidelines, but that does not mean that, you know, the inevitable would not have happened. So here we are, and he's not in great shape. COVID has affected people in great shape and not in great shape, people who are young, middle aged, people who are senior. And then we've had people who are senior who have actually beat COVID twice in some cases. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see. We understand that for people that do, in fact, contract coronavirus, and want to be really sensitive here because I don't know if anybody in the audience has had COVID. So, not to make light of that, inside of what he has used and weaponized, how he has weaponized COVID 19 in order to stir up support for his failing campaign, that in and of itself is going to be really, really interesting to see how he really navigates and how he addresses, if he does. And you all know he will, because he is a moth to a flame when it comes to a microphone, even though the mediocrity that spews out of his mouth is quite just stunning. But we will see. We will see. So listen, you all definitely have your finger on the pulse. We'll definitely keep our eyes on this. But in the meantime, please wear your mask, wash your hands often, social distance, and let's hope that with some different leadership that we will in fact have a national testing strategy, because he has no, he's not encouraged to do anything that we would hope to have seen by now, particularly with the United States leading not only in the number of confirmed cases, but also, unfortunately, in the people who have passed away as a result of COVID. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Good morning to you, Heather Jones. So good to see you, sis. Hey, Ron. Always fantastic to see you, my good brother. Good morning, Jonathan. Great to see you as well. So, with that being said, want to also talk about, we have 31 days left until November the 3rd. And at Savage Political Bite, what we want to do here, I told you all, definitely had an announcement that what we want to do is 30 days of action. So 30 days of action starts tomorrow. And 30 days of action would mean that if you are a subscriber to the Bite Gang, then you will already get these 30 days of action. Now, if you do not want the 30 days of action, and here's why I'm saying this, because I completely understand it is a lot to get, email after email after email. But this election is not a normal election. There have been elections in the past that have not been normal. When we think about Bush v. Gore, and that was in the early 2000s. When we think about that, then definitely you understand it's not normal elections. We also do not have normal leadership. This presidency has definitely been one that we said, we told you all. He is a raving, mediocre, um, selfish lunatic that has nothing valuable to add to the body politic. As long as he's been trying to gain recognition in Republican circles since the 80s. So whenever people say about him at 45 that, he's an outsider, he's going to shake it up, he's new, he doesn't really have a record, this is a person who wrote or actually wrote to presidents, actually had someone else write, because I don't believe that he's written anything that would be of value to read. But he had someone write a piece and have it published in newspaper talking about him being involved in politics as it relates to foreign governments. He's really tried to angle himself inside of the Republican Party, inside of politics for well over 30 years, right? I always push people to, when we look at him and his father and their organization in 1973 being sued by the Nixon administration's Department of Justice for denying housing to Black and brown folks. And that was in 1973. So when we think about that in the 70s, when we think about his front page ad that he took out across many newspaper about the exonerated five, but then after that, when he continued to try to edge his way into politics, going to Republican conventions, talking to different people, wanting to connect with different Republican administrations, and try to move himself as a way to be an arbiter of some type of um, uh, being involved in foreign governments to get himself within a cabinet. He's been doing that for quite some time. So now that he managed to steal a presidency, so to speak, he's not done anything except for enrich himself and his family while in that position. Um, so we have to be prepared for whatever he's going to do on the other side of kind of running into 31 days before November the 3rd. We've seen what he's done when he's not tried to, but when he has spoken against the process of mail in ballots, even though he has voted by mail for a number of years. Um, Folks in his family, largely, it's something that is seen on more on the Republican side, because for many people, or just for folks in general who just don't trust the process because of voter suppression, voter intimidation, that you would rather go to the polls, and not you, but those folks would rather go to the polls to make sure to have some confidence in their vote actually being counted. So that, yes, ma'am, honey, got to run the record, honey. And so, appreciate that, sis. And so when we think about all that he's done up to this point to really invalidate the process, right? We've seen the Republican governor of Texas who ordered that the secured boxes to drop off mail-in ballots, that those were going to be picked up. And Texas has the highest number of COVID cases throughout most of the United States. I believe they're like either number one or number two, but I believe number one. I don't know if Florida, they're kind of running neck to neck. All of that to say, you all, that someone mentioned just in the comments, and I want to say Barrington, yeah, we was talking to Dietrich, that he's going to be bombastic because that is who he is, and it's 31 days away from November the 3rd. So definitely don't, that's where we sit with that. But for us, as the citizenry, as we've talked about here on Savage Political Bite, that there is, in fact, um, a responsibility on our side. And so, if you've not signed up to become a poll worker, well, I highly suggest that. I'm definitely going to be doing that. Hey, Steve, good to see you, my brother. Welcome. Good morning, Bite Gang member there. I'm going to be doing that. Everything that I'm sharing with you all when we talk about getting our voting outfit together, same. When we're talking about making sure that you vote and you vote early, same. All of that. Make sure that that PPE is all lined up and ready to go. All of those different things because we have to engage because this individual has definitely already said that he has really declared himself the winner, whether he wins or loses. So 30 days of action. Savage Political Bite. My sister. Hey, Shan. Always fantastic to see you. Love you, girl. Um, all of that to say to you all that 30 days of action starts tomorrow. And so, what the Savage Political Bite is going to be doing is sending out little postcards, so to speak, to talk about what you can do. Now, very, very brief. It's not going to be a whole email, but something like a postcard to just kind of say, hey, Shan, hey, Moni, hey, Aaron, we got 29 days until November the 3rd. Have you, or will you, or join us? So that is what you'll be receiving. And I just really feel like with everything that we have on the line, with everything that we discuss, that this is something that's important for all of us. And hopefully that you can pass these along to other people. And the whole idea is really to get the ecosystem really, really powered. We want to overperform. This is a word that for all of you who have been involved in politics or just, the news, you've heard that word before, but overperform means that we really need to show up above and beyond the expected numbers. All right, Moni Lynn said, let's go. So if you would like to be a part of the 30 days of action, like I said, for those people who are already on the mailing list, that you will receive the 30 days of action. I've had people that have been featured on a Savage Political Bite. And here's one thing I just want to kind of put an asterisk by. If you've been featured on the bite, I the and but you have not actively subscribed to the bite, you won't receive it. If you give me an email address to be featured, I'm not going to automatically subscribe you to the bite. And so we did that a couple of times earlier this year to really just say these are people that are doing incredible work. When we featured some healthcare workers, educators, things of that nature, mental health and wellness folk. So, all of that to say, if you have not subscribed, it literally takes 6 seconds. Woke up this morning with a few more people that have subscribed to the bite. That's always amazing to see. So go to ericasavagepolitics.com and it literally takes 6 seconds. It's at the first third of the page. Can't miss it. Name, email address, check the box, hit subscribe, and you'll receive like a little kind of, hey, thank you so much for joining. Be looking out for us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Boom, you're in there. It literally takes 6 seconds. So do that, ericasavagepolitics.com. 30 days of action. You will start receiving those 30 days of action notifications beginning tomorrow. And I just want to stop and pause here before we close out and say, listen, I greatly appreciate each and every one of you all that you would be up at 7:30 for those of you that work at home, for those of you in transition to work, if you have children that you are caring for, so you're being a parent, you're also being a pseudo educator, not pseudo, but you're also being an educator as well. Um, Whatever your responsibilities are at this hour, I want to say thank you. I absolutely appreciate you. You're the reason that I do this, and that you would share this broadcast if you found that this broadcast was informative, if it helps you. The best thing that we could do right now is really as we do in a community way, is help each other. So please, 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 please like and share this broadcast. We definitely want to reach as many people as we can reach. And I absolutely appreciate each and every one of you all. Good morning, my sister Einstein. That's my nickname for her. She is incredibly genius like. Or she is an incredible genius, excuse me, not genius like. But good morning, Danielle. Always fantastic to see you, sis. But please do, if you found this informative, please do. These videos are usually sent right over to YouTube. So please, so if Facebook is not your thing, you are more than welcome to send them the link to YouTube as well. All right. All right, good people. And so 30 days of action, would love to get everyone involved in this as possible. They don't have to be a Bite Gang member to get these 30 days of action. They can just simply sign up and subscribe to get those 30 days of action along with the Savage Political Bite. Would love to love them, have them. Okay. She is she? She is Dr. Wilson Danielle, is a genius. So please, 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 please do that. All right, good people. Well, listen, we have reached the time in our broadcast where we do something super fantastic. Y'all already know what that is. Whew, those deep breaths. I tell you, I absolutely feel that every time. So make sure, one of two things, make sure, first and foremost, that the first voice that you hear speaking well over yourself, speaking all of the words that give you life, that give you confidence, that give you power, even when you don't feel like it. Make sure and make sure. Hey, Auntie Cynthia, so good to see you. Make sure that those words that you are speaking are affirming, powerful words, that you are the first voice that you hear in the morning. Please make sure that you're going to be doing that. Y'all, Monica has me cracking up. It's going to be a good day, Monica. So please make sure you do that. Say that to yourself. Monica just gave us a great way to affirm and empower yourself. Today is going to be a great day. So please make sure the first voice you hear is yours and that it is an empowering and life voice. And then also, that breath work, I cannot tell you, that is so powerful, you all. So make sure you're doing your breath work as well so that you are taking those 10 deep breaths in the morning. It's super powerful. And those 10 deep breaths before you retire for the evening. So make sure that you are within the guidelines of social distancing, masking up, washing your hands often. Also, please be aware we've got 31 days until November 3rd. If you want to join the Bite Gang and 30 days of action, would love to have you do that. So please, please, please go to ericasavagepolitics.com and join the Bite Gang. And then thirdly, and most importantly, be kind to yourself. It has been again, it just bears repeating for me. The week has really seemed like a month. Um, and that's just in my world. I don't know how it's felt for you in your world, but be good to yourself. Today is Friday. We're going into the weekend. We do have a lot ahead of us, but let me tell you, as I have said to you all, this is me personally, it's who I am. I'm a believer. What I stand on, because I ingest a lot of news. I did a few media hits this week. And then I have my 9 to 5 work, which is I'm a director at a political consulting and data management firm. I'm in doing other projects. So definitely running on all cylinders. But what I have found to be most helpful when all of those things are kind of seem to be colliding all at the same moment is to actually rest in Second Kings, the 6th chapter, 15 through 17. If you've not read it or you just don't want to read it, that's just fine. What it says is that, listen, even when it seems like there's an army all around, when our eyes are open divinely, that what we will see is that there's more of us than it is of them. And that is the bottom line. We are well more equipped than the regime is because it is more of us. And then we have something bigger on our side. So when I say we will win, and I'm saying that that is a declarative statement, I'm saying it because that's wrapped inside of what I stand on. So listen, we can and we will win. we will win together. We will not get over the finish line with one person having taken credit for all of the incredible work. It's taking all of us, and we're seeing it from every arena that people are really, really coming together. So listen, you are needed. We will win. And we will win together. So, Bite Gang, listen, I absolutely love you. Please like and share this broadcast. 30 Days of Action. That postcard starts tomorrow. Please sign up at ericasavagepolitics.com to get that postcard reminder. And with that being said, I just want to make sure I said hello to everybody. I bid you all adieu. I love you, love you, love you. Incredible people. And do have a fantastic day and weekend. I'll see you back here Monday for the #1 morning political primer in the nation. That is the Savage Political Bite. Love you all so greatly. Have a fantastic, fantastic day. Bye bye.